Do you like my YouTube videos? If you do, please leave a comment and actually click on the like button. And if you want, you can hit subscribe. That way you can stay up to date with all my YouTube videos. Hey, and go ahead and click that bell icon to be notified. Thanks. Take care, guys. Hello, Reptile Rescue family. This is a really important video people have been asking me about, and it's going to be broken up into a two-parter, although this one I think will go first, even though it's not in the order of how you'll do it. And this is how do you deworm your bearded dragon, but keep in mind that this deworming actually applies to any reptile, which is nice. Although it's the same dewormer that's used for chickens, goats, livestock, rabbits, dogs, cats, all of that. So, but step one, which will be in a different video, is you have to do, what are you doing, Phoenix? You have to, if you want to know if I shouldn't say you have to, if you want to know if your bearded dragon or lizard has worms, you have to do a fecal or have a fecal done. So I have a microscope here that I do all my fecals on, and that's how I identify if they have worms or not. Now, what leads you to do the fecals? Well, there's a couple things. You could see your bearded dragon is losing weight. Their poop really smells. Any of those things. And any of those things could be a sign there's something going on inside the GI tract, inside their digestive system, and the poop will normally tell you. And you do a fecal. Now, for a long time, it was thought that bearded dragons just naturally had worms. Because when they would find them in the wild and they would, a dead bearded dragon, they would cut them open and there'd be bugs, there'd be rotten leaves and grasses, and then there's almost always some type of pinworm, hookworm, etc. And the community for a long time accepted that bearded dragons, hey, they just have worms as part of a symbiotic relationship. Then you kind of found out, no, they didn't, and we found out that if you deworm your bearded dragon, they start to live longer, healthier lives. She's watching me move my hands while I speak here. I'm Italian, guys. I move my hands when I speak. But so we found out that deworming, where do you think you're going? We're trying to film a video on worms. We found out that deworming the bearded dragon helped them keep a healthier weight longer, helped them live longer, all of the above. So we know that deworming is good, and we can do fecals after the deworming, and we can find out that it's beneficial to them. Now, keep in mind, guys, this is the longer video. There is a YouTube short that's going to go up on just the deworming process, if you can watch that if you want it quicker. But if you want more backstory and everything, that's what's happening here. The second thing, though, we learned is the way we deworm our reptiles has changed. So the old way, and some people, you guys may have done this, but the old way the vet would do a dewormer is they would prescribe the dewormer, which you don't need a prescription. You can get the, this is Safeguard, but you're looking at that, the fenbendazole. That is what a dewormer, the name brand Pancure, Safeguard, any of those, they're all the same thing. But they would prescribe it to you in a lower dose. They would have you give a lower dose, once a day for X amount of time. And then they would check the fecal again. But what we noticed from that is it wasn't clearing the worms out correctly, and the fecal would still show worms, and then they would be on the dewormer for a long time. So the correct way, dude, come on, work with me here. But so the correct way, fix your hand for God's sakes. So the correct new way that's accepted for the deworming treatment is a high dosage, 1 day a week for 3 weeks, and then check the fecal 1 week later on week 4. And because what we found out is we were hitting the worms at different stages, either when it was in an egg or things like this, and we weren't clearing them out of the system altogether. And if you did and also your bearded dragon wouldn't poop out all of the possible dead worms or dead eggs all in, just one poop. So when you did all this massive deworming, and then you did a fecal right away, under the microscope doesn't know if the egg is alive or not. You could see an egg, you could see a worm, and it could be dead, but then you would think that bearded dragon still has worms. So you do this high-dose treatment, and then you wait a week. That's 1 week of pooping. So all of the dead worms should be out. And in that last week, you're looking for a significantly lower count of worms or up to no worms. Okay, Phoenix just wants to keep moving around. So what is the dosage? And tell us about the medicine that you use. So the dosage is, you take your bearded dragon's weight in grams, and the easiest way is, then that is how many milliliters it needs. So if your bearded dragon weighs 400 grams, the lowest dosage would be 0.4 milliliters. If it weighed 35, it would be 0.35. It's such an easy dosage when using 10%, which is what this majority is. It's 10% of the number. Okay, great. Now that's for the minimum dosage. Now, this fendobendazole is such a safe medication. It has 0 known bad side effects. So they have done studies on reptiles where they have given 10 times the dosage with no negative side effect. So this is really safe stuff. You gotta shake it up. So I'm just shaking it up to get it ready. So Phoenix weighs 400 grams. So a minimum dosage would be 0.4 milliliters. But I like to give always a little bit more because of how safe this is. So I always like to round up to the next whole number. So if she is anything that is 0.4, 0.45, point whatever, I'm going to go up to 0.5, which is what I'll do. So I'm going to do half a milliliter, which is nice and easy. You shake up this thick, chalky, milk-looking stuff. And the other reason why I also tell people to round up to the next number, whatever number you're at. If you're at 0.38, we're going to call it 0.4, and 0.4 should go up to the next whole number, 0.5, because the bearded dragons, sometimes they don't drink all of it. They let some sit in their mouth. They spit some out later on. So I just opened up one of these one-time usage. You know, this is a sterile syringe. It's a 1 milliliter syringe. So we're looking at a half drawn of 0.5. Because it's so little, I will give it to her all at one time, which is really nice. So we've shaken this bad boy up. We're going to overdraw. Then we're going to dip down to just over 0.5. It doesn't have to be super precise. It's probably right now 0.5 and a half as she's escaping. And so how are we going to give this? I've talked about this before in other videos, but let me explain before I do. So their glottis, their windpipe, sits right down here in the bottom middle of their mouth. You can see it when they open it. It's just a valve. We don't want to get any of this in there. So we're going to come in the side, come to the front of her mouth so she'll open, and then insert this down on whatever side, if you're left or right-handed. I'm right-handed, so we're going to be coming down on this side. So the tip is past the glottis, and then we're just going to slowly pump it, and you'll just see her swallowing. And that's how you deworm. So here we come. We're going to hold the head. I'm going to turn her just a little bit for the video. We're going to come in the side because I can pull the chin a little bit to get this in the tip. Now it's still on the outside of her teeth. We're going to come to the very front, which will cause her mouth to open. We're going to come down past the glottis, and we're going to just slowly feed. And that's it. There we go. Look how easy that is. No risk of a respiratory infection. No risk of it going down the windpipe. Super simple. We've dewormed her. This was actually her third treatment. So the next week, I will do a fecal, and we'll see if we got any worms. And if so, we just do it again for up to a week or until they're mostly gone. All right. Hopefully this has helped you guys. Take care. Have a great day. Thank you guys for supporting my reptile rescue family.